Welcome to the Impact Maker's Journey from Passion to Profits, the podcast showcasing heart-centered coaches, experts, and energy healers who are on a mission to change lives and create meaningful success doing what they love. I'm your host, Wendy Vaughn, business success coach and founder of Impact Maker Coaching. And I've got to be honest, the path from passion to profits is rarely easy, but it's always filled with growth, clarity, and surprising rewards. Now, each week I sit down with inspiring impact makers who have turned their knowledge and wisdom into thriving businesses that are making a meaningful difference for others. I will explore their personal and professional journeys, how they found their calling, and how they continue to stay aligned with their passion along the way. So if you're here to expand your vision about what's possible for yourself, you're in the right place. So join me as we discover the positive ripple effects created by today's guest. All right. Hi there. I have as my guest today, Debra Valentina. Now, Debra is a Soul Project Midwife to soul-centered female entrepreneurs. So welcome, Debra. I am so excited to have you as my guest today.
Excited to be here for sure.
Yeah, so we're going to dive into just this great work that you're doing and kind of the journey that you've been on, because every heart-centered coach and energy healer, in my mind, goes on both a journey of business development and personal development, all with the vision,
Absolutely.
all with the vision of making a meaningful difference, right, for others. And in my mind, I believe that this meaningful difference for others ultimately is the ripple effect that results in making the entire world a more positive experience. So that's kind of my grandiose vision. But the journey from passion to profit is not easy, nor is it the same for everyone. So I'm excited to discover more about you, Debra, and the path you've been on and the important work that you're doing. So,
Great.
curiously, just to kind of start at the beginning, when did you become a professional coach and what prompted you?
So I became a professional coach actually April 23rd. It'll be 39 years ago.
You remember the
So
exact date and 39 years ago. Wow, that's impressive.
yeah, well, it's just because it was such a life altering experience to go from a corporate executive to an entrepreneur.
Wow.
Um, y-
Yes.
yeah, going from all those resources to being a solopreneur. Not that I don't have resources that I use, but
Right.
that was quite a transition.
Well, yeah, the
And
structure and kind of other name and everything was an entity that you were a part of to now it's all you. And free floating, free flying, make your own decisions, make no decisions, it's all you. So yeah, that is quite a transition.
yeah. And I pretty much always knew that I was an entrepreneur at heart. But I was really I was in the healthcare industry and I'm
Okay.
trained as a healthcare executive. And I just was not a fit, bottom line, with the corporate world, and so decided to make a huge leap of faith. And transition to being an entrepreneur. And early on, I did healthcare operations projects, and also was a coach for healthcare executives, mostly female executives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that is a big leap of faith, definitely. I'm sure you were quite successful and had a good, healthy salary, and but it sounds like deep down you knew that there was something more that you were being called to do. So, yeah, I love
Absolutely.
that. I
I
love that.
I I think that what went into it is I like to make my own decisions and be in charge, essentially, of my destiny and my own decisions. And frankly, I didn't really agree with some of the decisions that were being made by my male bosses because I always had a male boss. That's how it was. It's changing a little bit. But in the healthcare C-suite, it was mostly men.
Yeah, yeah, and that does come with a lot of barriers, boundaries, kind of putting you in a box, and so yeah, it must have been quite liberating to just step out on your own. So, curiously, what did you do to, going from corporate? Obviously, you had a lot of skills, expertise, knowledge, but in a kind of a different role. So, what did you do to gain that level of expertise and authority for your to launch your coaching practice?
Oh my goodness. A lot of trial and error, I guess I would say. I back then, because I did call and still do call myself a coach, there was not a lot of training 39 years ago for
That's right.
coaches. There
That
was
was
there was
pioneering, truly, and a pioneer. Yeah.
And so I did take a course from Transformational Technologies, and that was the only coaching course I could find at the time. Um, I did. I was confident in my ability to enroll people into what I was, because I never, and I still do not use the term sales. I call it enrollment into what you
Hmm.
have to offer.
Sure.
Um, and so I had confidence. I had confidence in that. Because I did have training in enrollment through the Landmark Education Program.
Okay.
Um, and enrolled lots and lots of people into the Landmark Forum. And I thought, well, if I can enroll them into the forum, why can't I enroll them into what I'm about?
Right.
So, but there was a lot of I mean, I think that what I would say is I needed to have clarity, commitment, focus, um, and an ability to articulate the niche that I was promoting at the time.
Oh
So
yeah, that's so important. Having it, being able to create clarity around what you're doing that allows potential clients to get it and say, "Oh, I want that. I need that." You know,
exactly,
that
exactly.
is definitely a necessary tool, whether you call it enrollment or sales or marketing. It's all about creating that sense of like, I get that, and I think I need what you offer. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So Deborah, tell me just a little bit more about who you serve as a Soul Project Midwife.
Yes. So I serve and always have for the last 39 years um, heart-centered female entrepreneurs and executives, and sometimes executives that turn into entrepreneurs. And they have they're high achieving, and they have a sense of uh, what they want to manifest.
Okay.
Um, so, for example, I'll just talk about a client that I just completed with this week. It's just top of mind, and she's been
Sure.
with me. She's been with me for 15 years,
Wow.
which
That's
is which
loyalty.
and I actually have a number of clients who have been with me that long. Now I know that's not traditional, if you will, but the deal is that they have intentions, and to work with me, you have to have three juicy, what I call three juicy intentions. So we know whether, the client is getting something out of it, and it's specifically what they want out of the coaching sessions. Um, so this woman kept creating more and more and more intentions, and so.
Of course,
Um,
the further you go, the further you see, right? Oh, now
Absolutely.
I want that. Now I want that.
Exactly. So just briefly, this client's journey was she was a life sciences executive in quality was her specialty. Um, and so I coached her for many, many years. Let's see, it would have been like 13 years as a life sciences executive. And actually, some of what we did together was always talk about her compensation package and what she was going to ask for. And the
Okay.
long and short of it is she retired almost 2 years ago as a multimillionaire.
Wow. Wow, that's impressive. So she
Uh,
was
it,
struggling with, I'm guessing owning her worth, communicating her value, being heard. Are those some of the things? I'm
yeah,
just
those are some of the things, and thank you for bringing those out. Um, uh, and I find uh, the whole thing about worthiness across the last 39 years that I have worked with women. Uh, I would say in almost every single woman with every single woman I've worked with, there's some struggle around worthiness.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's conscious, sometimes it's unconscious.
Sure.
But absolutely. So obviously we worked through with this particular client a lot of issues for her to just really soar.
Mhm.
One of the byproducts of our working together was she got in touch with her spirituality uh, and so we've now transitioned and into I'm her writing coach. She has five books a series of books, five which she's identified that she wants to write. And not everyone gets this luxury, but because she is a wealthy woman now, she gets to write to her heart's content.
Right.
Um, and so the Soul Project Midwife, there's lots of different soul projects that, come forth for
Yeah, because
women.
that's a kind of a unique title. So I was hoping you would speak more to that. Soul Project Midwife as being your expert title, which I
Yes,
love, and it symbolizes that there is a project within that is akin to the soul or a soul's purpose or truly deeply meaningful, and you help birth it, right?
absolutely. That's so well said. I could have said it better, and I'm going to
Okay.
add a few things. Is usually there's not just one soul project, but there's a compelling one at the time. So I'm working with another client currently, and she has always wanted to birth a program around the divine feminine. And integrating the masculine and feminine energies. And that's exactly what she's doing. She's in Mexico now getting some additional training, but I have empowered her and guided her through her developing her signature program which she just completed the launch of this program last Sunday, and I was part of
Great.
it to give her feedback.
Wow, that's
Um,
great.
yeah.
So these successful minded, ambitious people, women, it sounds like in their current roles, they're not really, feeling fulfilled. They're successful, but there's something deeper that they know that is just kind of percolating, and they can't seem to get out of their own way, or so you facilitate that, correct? When we were first talking, I was thinking, oh, well, they she helps them to, do better in their current role. But it sounds like what that's probably the byproduct, right? But the focus is to really support people to make that bigger contribution that they feel called to be making.
Oh, I love the way you said that. Yes, like the
Okay.
Soul Project is a yearning, a calling
Yeah.
that um, feels too big, might feel too big to do. And so I'm a help them to reflect that, and a mirror to say that yes, they can do that.
Mm,
Um, and so it's hugely fulfilling for them to birth this soul project. And then what I find is once you do one, you're inspired to, and you will get a download, if you will, on what
sure.
the next one is.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just add something like one of my superpowers is my highly developed intuition.
I was just going
So
to ask you that because it sounds like if you're able to mirror what is within your clients, then you must have this really fine-tuned intuition.
absolutely, thank you. I do.
Yeah.
And so I can, it's almost like, well, a couple of things. One is tune into what's going on with them. And a lot of times they're so surprised. They're like, "How do you know that?" And I'm like, "I just, I just know."
You can hear beyond the words. The words kind of are, clumsy, but you hear right through them to what is really that deeper yearning and thing. And I'm obviously you can just see them to start lighting up as you're talking. So that's probably the other clues.
Absolutely. And that's so satisfying
Oh yeah.
to see people light up. And
Mhm.
I just had, just as another example, I said a lot of times people discover that they want to write a book, a nonfiction book about a lot of times their life story, or a lot of times their how to, because they're an expert in something, and then how to. And I just had a class last night with three people, and what made me think of it is the lighting up factor, because they all lit up because I got, they said just a few words, and I
Mhm.
got what they were wanting to write
Yeah.
about, and then came up. My other superpower is to come up with titles for what people are wanting to write
Mhm.
about. So,
Yep. You and I share that same superpower because that's what that intuitive kind of empathic, that all kind of comes together with being able to really hear the essence and then find the words. And that I love that ability within you because I totally resonate. Yeah, that.
ah,
So I'm
great.
curious, Deborah, I know that this work is obviously fulfilling to you, but is there something bigger? What inspires you to do this work? Because you took a big leap of faith back when you transitioned out of corporate. You knew there was something you were meant to be doing other than that. But today, what keeps you going? What inspires you to continue doing this work? with these women?
Yeah, I have been inspired since, I think, I sometimes say since I've come out of the womb. But I know for sure as a young adult, that I was committed to encouraging and empowering women to be, including myself, to be fully self-expressed. And so if I look at any of my work that I've done, uh, that has been the theme and continues to be the theme.
Mm-hmm. Just
It's
the
it's my
striving, that's your like lane to run in, is just to unleash. I know that's an overused word and I apologize, but it's like unleash, the that full expression that these women are
absolutely.
yearning to bring out. So what do people say? What do these women say? I'm sure you have probably hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clients that you've served over the years, but what are some of the things they say about the results they receive from working with you?
One consistent thing is it's beyond what they could imagine, that the
Mm-hmm.
results are beyond what they could imagine, that they are that they've that and the results are that they've manifested their three juicy intentions and beyond, and that they're clear about their next steps. Um, and as an example, when I'm completing with a client, I will say, "What did you learn here?" Two questions: "What did you learn here?" and "What will you do?" And then the "What will you do?" This whole um, download from them comes of clarity around this is what I will do from now on.
Wow.
It's such a beautiful exercise, and they're stunned at how clear it is. Um, I ask them to get connected with their knowingness, which is what I do. I have people, with these women, connect to their own higher selves, knowingness, true self, whatever you want to call it. And that I love to do, and I do in every session so that the women um, have their inner guide to go to,
Mhm.
that it's not just
So it's
me.
a continuous. It's like now they can access that part of them. You have opened up that channel, it sounds like, to where they can really go within and stay aligned with that. So in that alignment is what brings that sense of, clarity around, I know what I need to do. I can just see it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And they're thrilled to be able to consistently connect and have a strong connection with their intuitive guidance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so I always get um, acknowledged that that's one of the big results as well.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. And like I said earlier, it's those ripple effects, right? The ripple effect of you supporting a woman to just really lean into her kind of like, well, I was thinking about, and I was kind of had this idea of doing XYZ, and you help them really gain clarity about what that is and how to carry that out and to really bring it into reality, like you said, birth it. And then the world that she impacts now is all that much more positive and vibrant. So really, in my mind, the ripple effects are infinite, truly, of the work that you do. And one of my mentors early in my career as an entrepreneur was Mark Victor Hansen.
Oh,
I
yes.
was one of his mastermind groups, the 3% Club, and he taught me that. He said, Wendy, you know, you just need to have a big, hairy, audacious goal. He called it a
Yes.
BHAG. something that just fuels your passion and helps you to overcome your own barriers so you get out of the way. And it sounds like that's kind of what you unleash for these women, is something that just allows them to just get out of their own way, get past the limitations that they might have been putting up for themselves. So for me, my big hairy audacious goal is to empower every coach and healer that I meet to feel motivated and strong enough and resilient enough to just carry forward their biggest vision. So we have a lot of alignment there, but I'm curious, what is your, do you have a big audacious goal for yourself, Deborah? Can you share a little bit about your vision?
Absolutely. I'm gonna answer it in two ways.
Okay.
So I had a big audacious goal since I was in third grade and I visited the United Nations and went with the Girl Scouts. And when
Okay.
I was in the United Nations, I said, I want to speak here someday.
Wow.
Last year, in March of 2024, I spoke at the United Nations.
Wow.
I get
Wow.
goosebumps just
That is
saying it out loud. And I was representing so the conference, the UN conference was the 68th conference on the status international conference on the status of women. I wanted to get that right.
wow.
And I was
Fantastic.
representing the World Academy for the Future of Women. And so,
Woohoo,
uh,
that is
thank you.
big. That is big.
And so, my big audacious goal, or one of them, was met, and I just wanted to share that because it's literally just like a year anniversary
Yeah.
last in March.
A vision that you
Uh,
had way back at, you said third grade, right?
Third grade, yes.
You
I'm
made
a
that
little.
declaration.
I
I'm going to
did.
speak here. I love that.
I was so clear about it, so clear about it. Now my big audacious goal is I know that I am a an outstanding coach, and I want to reach more women and have more impact. And I see it not just national, but international. And I have had
Yep.
that impact, but yes,
Worldwide. Hmm.
worldwide.
I love that. I love that. So, Deborah, what is the best way for people to, just really get a better understanding of your approach and your wisdom and your intuitive abilities is really the best answer for them in their knowingness that there's something more within them, that there really is possibly something big and audacious for them as well. So what's the best next step?
Well, I would love and am offering a 30-minute clarity call.
Okay.
Um, and it is to get in touch with what your soul project is, or if you're writing a book, to get clarity about the contents and a title. And that can happen in 30 minutes, at least a
Wow.
working title.
That's
Um,
that's exciting.
it's very exciting. And it's like, is that possible? And it happens over and over again. So that's what I'm offering.
Okay.
Um, and should I say where they can find me?
You most definitely can. And for everyone, just know that the link is in the show notes, but go right ahead, Deborah.
Sure. It's my website is creativing.info, and that's Creativing creativeliving.info, and that's a combination of creative living. And there's a contact page there. You can just click in, you write an email that goes directly to me, and I will be in touch.
Okay, perfect. Well, fantastic. Well, Debra, this has been just so much fun. Listening to your journey, how you took the courage, how you followed your own, you were really your own midwife, right? Soul purpose midwife.
Was.
And got yourself out there, and the impact that you're making is really phenomenal. And I love your vision, and just so excited to have been able to just get a better understanding of this important work that you're doing. So thank you so much, Debra.
You're welcome. And it's been really, really fun. I've had a good time, and I hope the listeners have a good time as well.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you again, Debra. All right. Well, the real life transformations facilitated by experts like my guest today are truly priceless. I mean, happiness, joy, peace, love, right? These are all what each of us ultimately strives for in life. But becoming a sought after and well-paid coach or energy healer is often challenging, overwhelming, and frustrating. So if you're a heart-centered coach, expert, or energy healer who's striving for more ease, flow, and abundance, well, I've created a special gift just for you. So check out the show notes. All right, well, this is Wendy Vaughn signing off. Thank you so much for tuning in, and be sure to join me for my next episode, where we'll be inspired by yet another impact maker's journey.